Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am coming back to post a quick video here. Gonna finish up the last video I had on my list of threads that are out there right now. Um, if I haven't seen your thread video, because obviously it's easy to miss with all the stuff that's videos that are being posted all the time, shoot me a quick message because I'm definitely gonna I like to spend a good chunk of time this weekend getting back to all those threads. But I've done a few over the past couple days, and the last one that I have on my list here is James D, his 100 subscribers thread. Um, so first and foremost, I always want to start off by saying congratulations on the 100 subs. Thank you for allowing me to be one of them, and thanks for kind of putting forward a nice, kind of simple, right to the point type question. Um, so let's just kind of jump right into it. He was simply asking us to share some of our favorite female fronted groups or bands. So just kind of, there you go. And when I kind of took that question too to really focus on the word group or band, so I didn't pull out any solo artists, just kind of standalone artists. Like I don't know, Cher or something like So actually, female fronted groups where the group is the main focus, if you will, and not just the one individual artist. Um, so let me just kind of dive right into it. I won't spend a lot of time talking about each one because the vast majority of these you guys will know anyway. So just these are all the ones that popped in my head that I pulled out of my stacks within 5 minutes after saying I'm going to do the video. So let's just kind of roll right into it. First one's here on CD. I don't have any of these on vinyl, but Arch Enemy. This was some awesome VCLT. I think came from Sarah, the Metal Goddess, quite a while ago, which I really love that CD. But Arch Enemy, some great metal there. Concrete Blonde, I think 1990 this came out. Love her voice. And the song Joey, I think, just really shows the beauty of that band. So that's my favorite song off this album. Four Non Blondes, you remember them? I did love that lead singer. Kind of liked her style and everything else. So that was another album that was kind of big back in the day. I know a lot of different opinions on this, but I love the Cranberries. So I definitely have to kind of throw them in there. I love her voice. And of course, you can't talk about great female fronted groups without throwing Natalie Merchant in there of 10,000 Maniacs. Beautiful voice, beautiful delivery, such like power and grit, yet softness, just kind of all combined in the one. It's just a beautiful voice. So then kind of going to the vinyl I pulled out. Again, just kind of flipping through really quick here. Elastica. Love that shot of her on the front. I mean, about all the photos I've ever seen of her, I just think that captures her so well. I love that. And then the Waitresses. Some nice 80s fun here because I know what boys like. One of my favorite songs from the 80s there. I think she passed away a little while ago. I think it was breast cancer if I remember correctly, which is a pity, but glad that she was able to leave us some great music to continue to enjoy. Till Tuesday. Of course, you guys remember her as well. I'm going to flip through each one. Voices Carry, great track off of that album. Another band that people tend to love or hate, especially if you don't like that early 90s stuff that was going on, but I love Roxette. I think great vocals in my opinion. I love their harmonies, love the way they just kind of put together a lot of their music. So definitely a band that I enjoyed a lot. And you can't talk about female fronted groups without paying respects to some of the women that really kind of paved that way throughout the 80s and 90s. So you have to throw the Pretenders in there, which is really cool. A couple times, not the last time, but time before last, when I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they were doing a tribute to female, artists and stuff like that. And it was really cool because they had these pants, the jacket, and the gloves from this album cover there, which was just kind of awesome. But moving right along, this is one that I would actually be interested anyone besides Billy Crayoni and Adam Lee really liked this, because I've never heard anyone else talk about it. But the Jets, kind of a bigger group in the mid '80s, kind of the R&B slash, I don't know, kind of, I guess, Cuban type flavor. I don't know if that's actually their nationality, but it's just like the feel that comes out of the music. But yeah, they were fronted by the two sisters there. So really fun group from the mid '80s. And of course the Go-Go's. I mean, you have to give them credit, like them or not. These girls were huge in the '80s. B-52s. I guess you could say the girls here were kind of co-lead, if you will, but for the most part, I consider them kind of lead singers of the band. So that's Whammy. And of course, A-Lennox there, before she went solo with the Eurythmics. It's my favorite cover of her too. That's just a beautiful picture of her. Love that. Jefferson Airplane, another great one. The one and only. One of my favorite album covers here too, which is the Ronettes. That cover is just so classic right there. Just really captures in my mind the greatness of the 60s there. And again, if you're going to talk about lead front women, you cannot leave these ladies out of the conversation. I mean, Heart is just, it's Heart, plain and simple. And if you guys remember this band from the 90s, early 90s, yeah, 1990, this album came out. The Sundays, great album here. Favorite song off of this is Here's Where the Story Ends. But again, in my mind, just kind of she has that very classic early 90s voice. Just really, really beautiful voice. And arguably the queen of fronted groups. Now, of course, it says Joan Jett, but I consider Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. So, you could argue that either way, whether she's kind of solo, but it's the Blackhearts. Even though I guess it wasn't officially the Blackhearts here, because she started out somewhat solo. Never thought about that actually. But anyway, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, you got to throw them in there. And I actually have this one thanks to the one and only Mr. Billy Crayoni. Lisa and the Cult Jam. I've always loved Lisa since I was a little kid, and as you can see, Billy Crayoni got it signed for me, not to mention had her kiss it for me, which was awesome. Crazy about Lisa, I've always loved her. And then you have Brink from In This Moment. Definitely one of my favorite front women in metal. I think she's awesome. Not as fond of the new direction that In This Moment has gone since some of the members left and all that kind of reorganization and everything. I mean, their last two albums, and yeah, but still love them, still love her. So we'll always continue to support them. The Donnas. Again, I don't have to explain that one. I'm sure you guys know. Here's a band that, again, I'd be curious if someone beyond Billy Crayoni or Adam Lee was very familiar with or liked. Climax. They were bigger, or I guess you'd say they were kind of at their peak in the 80s, mid-80s, kind of part of the R&B scene. But they were very much like the group Cameo, which I've mentioned about a few times, in that Cameo and Climax, they were in the R&B world, but they were kind of the most rock and roll bands of the R&B world. Just kind of that style, do it our way, don't have to necessarily stick with trends and all that type of stuff. They just did what they did. And some stuff they did sounded weird as heck, and some stuff they did was just like pure 80s R&B ballads, like I Miss You. But yeah, I mean, the Men All Pause, Meeting in the Ladies' Room, all that great stuff. Love this band. For nothing else, just them doing it their own way. There were a couple of different, depending on the song, but she was kind of the primary lead singer. She was the one I loved to death. She was kind of the the character of the group. Almost like what Flavor Flav was to Public Enemy. You know, she wasn't like a hype woman, but she just had that personality where she just kind of did her own thing in different ways, and so she was a very, very cool band. But anyway, kind of moving right along. TLC, everyone knows them, of course. You know, definitely got to give them props for a female-fronted band. Gladys Knight and the Pips. Heck yeah. Rufus, another one to kind of throw in there before Shaka Khan went solo. So Shaka Khan was kind of lead in that band. The Shirelles, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, was one of my favorite tracks from back then. Again, I love her voice, her delivery, love the monotone type passion that comes out in that song. It's just really, really awesome stuff. Of course, ABBA. Don't need to say anything about that. Of course, Fleetwood Mac. I mean, come on. Stevie. Enough said. One of the best female-fronted bands ever, in my opinion. And Blondie. Then Ike and Tina. You know, before Tina went solo. Got to give her props. Sharon Joan and the Dap Kings. Another one to kind of throw on the list there. Those of you may not be as familiar with her. Again, to me, she's it's a modern day group. They put out records now, and this actually came out in 2010. But it's just kind of nice. It's a modern day group that really kind of goes back to some of the old R&B feel, if you will. So just kind of, you know, getting back to straightforward band music, if you will. Not big band, but hey, say what you want. Pointer Sisters. Have to throw them in there as well. And In Vogue. Another great one too. I mean, those girls could really sing some pretty good stuff on this album too. And last but not least, this is one that I'm going to have to pick up the camera to go show you because I don't have anything to show you because my boy John out there in the VC is actually getting some stuff autographed for me right now. So he has all of my stuff. But the one thing I do have that I can show you, I can get the camera right there. There's a, it's like, wait a second, where we going? Sorry, I can't see, so I hope it's in the picture there. But Kitty, definitely got to throw them in the mix as well. And if you're wondering what that is, I mean, there's pretty much no posters out there of them that I could acquire. So Elizabeth Nicole Photography just kind of did some personal work for me on that. She took some shots off the album cover and then you know, did some work on it to clean it up, and it just allowed me to go print one poster, so I actually have a poster of them on my wall because I love those girls. They're totally awesome. So definitely want to make sure I include them as well. But yeah, so there you go, man. Like I said, just a first female artist as far as group front women that popped in my mind. And as always, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, VC.